What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wait What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 93. My name is Bret, aka Enigma 911, and today I am joined by the host of the Trophy Room, Joe, aka Mr. Bad Bit. How are you, Joe?
I'm good, and you passed the test. Usually people say the PlayStation trophy room. I
Ah,
have to correct them. I have to say, no, 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 no. You failed. Do it again.
yes.
I get it. I get it.
I
I get it.
appreciate you being on, man. It means a lot. Remember, guys,
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here, man.
nice. Viewers, remember you guys can catch this live over on twitch.tv/Enigma911 every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join the chat if you're a sub over there. We'd love to have you. If you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. You can go over to YouTube and SoundCloud the very next week where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, hashtag ad merch store. You can get all of your swag over there, t-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand to support us. It would be greatly appreciated. So yes, we got Joe on today. A few episodes ago, we had his co-host on. We had Kyle Stevenson on, Mr. K-Step, talking about content. So I kind of want to pick Joe's brain today about content, which Kyle's kind of alluded to a little bit in his talk.
Did he really?
He did.
I hope it was nice and not too negative.
So Joe, I guess we'll just start right at the beginning. How did you get into content?
Man, I got a sad story for you
Oh,
about
okay.
2015. Would it be 6 years? 2015, 2016?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sadness really wants to repress the memories. But, I was doing a dumb little podcast with my brother, right? It
Okay.
was going nowhere. And I was like, you know what? It's time to pivot. Let's do YouTube. I was making real bad videos, man. I mean, real bad. Like, it was me playing Destiny, and I didn't know how to record audio on a separate track, so I would be playing Destiny and talking about something at the same time. That's impossible. Anybody try to do it, you can't. And they were bad, but they were just something I wanted to do because people said I was real entertaining and such. I was like, okay, let me try it. A few weeks into that, I found out my grandpa had stomach cancer
Okay.
and it moved everywhere. And my grandpa never wanted to, he never liked being the center of attention,
Mm-hmm.
but it's ironic because he would end up being the glue that held the family together. Um, so he had a few weeks to live. And when we got word of that, of how bad it was progressing, um, it's rough. So, I was working a job that I absolutely loathed, and I was going home to say goodbye to my grandpa, make him feel okay as he goes. And it it hurt so much so that like I would go home and I'd be like, I gotta think of something other than my grandpa passing. So I would just make little stupid YouTube videos, and that would escalate after he passed. Of course, I didn't do anything other than that. I was still in a really deep depression. I was like, you know what? The thing that really helped was doing this dumb little YouTube thing. And it escalated. The ball started rolling, and I started doing more and more of the YouTube business. In 2017, I made the proto show of the Trophy Room, and I really loved talking PlayStation. And this was actually during the times because I was a big Beyond fan,
Mm-hmm.
huge. I was a big PS I Love You fan as well. That was my favorite podcast, still is my favorite podcast of all time. And I was really pissed when Greg announced that he was going to end it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ah, son of a gun. And I was so mad that I was like, Thanos Gauntlet, I'm going to do it myself.
There you go.
If he's not, I'm going to. And it wasn't even like, because I see people when like there's a vacuum for something, they're like, I'm going to do it. This is going to be the next big thing. No, it was literally like, damn it. I need an excuse to talk PlayStation or just hear PlayStation opinions or whatever. This is the best place. I'm gonna make this place. Damn it. And so I did. And 2018, Kyle comes along, and we totally rebrand. To me, it's a totally different show. That's why to me, I'm like, it's the proto show. This was the show before the trophy room.
Mm-hmm.
So we made the trophy room 18 January 10th, I believe. I'm bad at anniversary. Same with Kyle, so he can't hold it against me. And from then, I kind of ditched YouTube and I've focused solely on the podcast and how to grow that thing. So that's what I've been up to for so long.
Wow. Okay. A lot of stuff. Okay. So
Oh, I'll have to dissect. You one by one. Let's do it.
so with you transferring from the YouTube stuff to the podcasting specifically, was there anything that you've kind of learned from the YouTube stuff that you created and kind of implemented it into the podcast as you were creating them going forward?
The number one thing that I'm constantly always trying to improve on is when it comes to podcasting, when it comes to just anything, you need good audio. I'm not an audio master. I'm never going to be an audio whiz, but I always wanted to get to a point where I sound good, Kyle sounds good, we have a good show. Because the number one thing is like, you can, when you're making a YouTube video, you think the number one thing is a camera, lighting, but it's your voice. So you have to understand that if I'm coming in and you don't care what I have to say because you can't hear it. So people's attentions are very quick to that. So the number one thing that I learned is audio, audio, audio above everything. That's the most important thing to me. And again, we're still trying to make sure that we have the best audio that we can have. And honestly, it's a night and day. You tune into something we did in 2018 to what we did or what we're doing now. You're like, whoa,
Right.
That's an improvement. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's my thing I've learned for sure.
Very cool. Okay, so going along the path of audio, was it hard to kind of find your voice for how you wanted to present your product?
How so? Like voices in like my the way I articulate myself. Or...
So like for example, with my podcast, like you mentioned, going back and listening to earlier stuff, like I can hear myself like, oh, I stumbled here, or obviously the intro's not as strong as it was. Just having like maybe even just the confidence level to, this is like, as the host, this is how I'm gonna intro, this is how I'm gonna, throw to Kyle, how to keep everything flowing. How'd you find that? What was the process?
Time. A lot, like, so the one thing that I try to do, something we did before here, have a little conversation. If I'm having guests on, have a little talk with them before the show goes, so I can understand their inflection points and when I can take over that conversation or take over that topic, or if I'm not going to be able to.
Okay.
So stuff like that comes in time, and it comes with a lot of reading body language. And when it comes to like Kyle, it's always a work in progress, but I think we've come to the point with us where I know when Kyle's going to break. Kyle knows when I'm going to break half the time. And we had a conversation a few years ago where you talk about knowing the product. I knew I was talking too much.
Okay.
And I knew Kyle didn't have the confidence to cut me off. And I'm like, Kyle, whatever I'm saying and you have a better point, just come in. Just come in and I will learn how to shut up, because that is one thing coming from YouTube is like, you're usually trying to talk for 8 minutes.
Right.
Right? Because it's a YouTube video. So in podcasts, it's a bit different. You don't want to go for too long unless it's something like this where you're interviewing me. So like, yeah, that's the one thing, is it's a learning process. And I think that's what a lot of people don't know going into it. They expect just to get it like that.
Right.
And when they don't, it hurts them,
Yeah.
Kills the motivation.
For sure. Yeah, listening to the podcast week to week, you guys definitely have a great chemistry together, and like everything flows really well and it's really entertaining. So obviously with the time that you guys have put in, it's clearly worked. So congrats on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work each and every week.
So with bringing up Kyle, in our conversation, he mentioned how like he was the shy kid, which I definitely can understand. Like even speaking in front of his class, that kind of freaked him out. Have you were you similar in that way, or have you always been like more the social butterfly, as I like to put the term?
I'm the extroverted introvert.
Okay.
So I usually dread, for some reason, the social gathering, but once I'm at the social gathering, I'm usually nailing it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I so I would say that's what makes me a little unique. Is yeah, I'm not so much the. I guess I am the social butterfly, but it is breaking out of the cocoon. It's like dragging me to that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in school, I was always that way too.
Okay.
Um, so like, yeah, once my mouth started opening, people liked what I heard, but it was usually getting my mouth to open.
Yeah, totally understandable. Totally understandable. So you've kind of mentioned it before with like taking the spot, that void that PS I Love You left, and
Yeah.
bringing it to your own. Was that the only reason for focusing on PlayStation compared to maybe Xbox or Nintendo, or was there something else involved with that?
Great question. So for me, my journey with video games was I was a Nintendo kid.
Okay.
My SNES is the first console I ever got. Super Mario World was the first game I ever beat, and it is the best Mario still to this day. When I was a teenager, I was an Xbox kid
Mm-hmm.
through to the 360 era until the 11th Red Ring. At this point, I'm just making up numbers. It was a lot of Red Rings, y'all. And then I jumped on the PS3 train, played Uncharted 2 during the PlayStation 3 blackout. That's where I got on the PlayStation bandwagon.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, there are so many great games here. What was I doing? Because I was like a dumb little fanboy at that time. And it was at that time where I found PS I Love You. Or sorry, what would be Beyond at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually during the blackout days. I'm like, this console's great. Like, online capability, not so much, but everything else really good. um, and it was really during the PlayStation 4 age where, I completely abandoned Xbox. Like, I didn't even feel like honestly, I'm going to be it's the most fanboyish thing I'm ever going to say. There's not many reasons to own an Xbox One to me before Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn. This was just after E3 of that same year. And it was funny because I tried playing Horizon back in February. I couldn't get into it because Zelda just came out afterwards. I was like, oh my God, this is Breath of the Wild is amazing. And after E3, I fell in love with Horizon. Like, it was just 2 weeks straight. So when Greg broke the news that he wasn't going to be doing it anymore, which understandable, I was so upset because I wanted more than anything for Colin and Greg to talk about Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I missed. I missed those conversations. And so it was really the love of Horizon Zero Dawn, me really thinking back to myself going, you know what? I really do love everything that Sony puts out. This is the thing I really like. But then also understanding that I'm not the PlayStation encyclopedia like Colin or Greg were, and nor probably ever will be. And so my first focus was, I need to get someone that has that.
Okay.
And because if it's just me and some other guy, well, that's fair weather. We can leave and we can make the achievement hall next if Xbox does well.
Mm-hmm.
I want someone that is unabashedly loves PlayStation, and that was Kyle.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So with the trophy room, obviously the success it's had, do you have any future goals like that you want to do with the product? Whether it's, I don't know, maybe a different show or hosting a panel at a convention?
So we've had a few plans. Like, we have a PAX thing we would like to do.
Okay.
I don't know if we're doing it this year. I don't think luck was on our side.
Gotcha.
I'm often really pretty realistic when it comes to the podcast and my expectations. When people ask me what are the goals of the PlayStation, or, the trophy room, I just say I just want to keep doing it every week.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Is the goal? Would it be nice to be the next Greg Miller? Yeah, sure, but it's not happening. When the biggest piece of advice I can ever give any content creator is you're not here to be the next PewDiePie or whoever has the most subs on the YouTubes. You're not here to be the next and the best. You're here to give people a reason to escape the mundane and escape the realities of the world. That is your mission. And if you choose to accept it, and if you want to build a community, that should be the goal. It's just to have fun. It's not about the check or quitting your job, because the reality of it, super slim.
Mm-hmm.
Very incredibly slim. So although 90+% of all YouTube traffic is smaller channels, more than 90% of those channels A being the next PewDiePie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I try to really stick home is get those expectations grounded, do it because you love it. So my future plans for the trophy room is, I think some would maybe call it short-sighted, but it's okay. So we're getting forward momentum. How do we keep that forward momentum while at the same time holding true to the thing that makes our community us? So we're trying to book some more guests, but not trying to make the show about the next guest, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Very nice. Yeah, that's some good advice there. I definitely, I've had some struggles with that. I'm like, ugh, not good. And I'm sure we'll talk about that with the topic too. But with the show's lifespan, do you have a favorite episode or maybe a favorite moment from your recordings?
It would be easy to say the Greg Miller episode.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy to say that, but it's not.
Okay.
I walked away from that episode going, man, I hope I did good. Man, I hope I did okay, and I hope I tried my best. Because Kyle likes to do this, and I hate when Kyle does this. He'll be like, I did this thing, it's really cool, this should be his thing, and he's just like, all right, it's about everybody else but me, and I'm just gonna sit back and relax. I'm like, Kyle, no, stop. Like it's this apprehensiveness about the spotlight. I'm like, bring you in here.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's a great episode, but it's not our best one.
Mm-hmm.
I think our best one is the Black Lives Matter episode that we did. I forget the title. I think we just named it Black Lives Matter. So our show, we, again, a creator's job should be taking you out of the realities of the world, should be making a community that is truly inclusive, that is about bringing everybody together and making a space where people feel comfortable and they feel safe. It's my job is not to say, and I know like I could get a lot of shit for this, but my job is not to say that Joe Biden's great or Donald Trump's the devil. These are things that half of that's fact. Donald Trump's the devil. But like it's not my job to beat you over the head with that every week, right? Like it's just my job to talk about PlayStation. So when we saw the Black Lives Matter movement grow in such a way, and it was on the weekend that PlayStation was supposed to hold their Future of Gaming event, it's an inflection point for every podcast, for every creator of, okay, so what is my mission? What am I going to do here? And it's funny because I was talking to one of our members and they were just like, thank you for being so outspoken. Thank you for doing all these things. And to us, I took that moment of like, this is not a political message. This is just saying that a black person's life matters. As a Hispanic and someone that passes as white, I have cousins who are darker skinned. And I remember as a kid, they would get looked at. I remember this actually I was just making coffee thinking about the time where I went to a convenience store with my cousins. My one, Carlos, he's technically our half cousin, but to us, family. So he's my cousin. And he's dark skinned. And I'm light skinned. And then my cousin Allie, she is white skinned. She is white at the end of the day. And so we went to a convenience store. The person was watching my cousin Carlos and I. More so my cousin Carlos because he is a darker skinned person. we came out of the convenience store, and my cousin Allie stole. The convenience clerk never knew. Because they just were looking at my cousin Carlos. It was my white cousin Allie that stole that keychain. So I understood that those things exist here and are prevalent here. And so by me saying Black Lives Matter, by us having a conversation, I'm not here to sit you down and tell you I have all the answers to this. I'm going to sit you down and I'm going to explain you systematic racism. I'm just here to tell you that you as an individual, no matter the color of your skin, sexual orientation, are welcomed here. I may not be the perfect ally. I'm going to make a mistake. I know that, we're human. But we're here to help each other up when we do that too. So that episode, it was me, our good friend Emmett Watkins Jr., and Kyle. And I brought Emmett on because I was just like, hey man, I feel like this is really important. I don't want to just have you on because, it's like, hey, here's our black friend Emmett. I want us to have a real conversation. I want to talk about the three perspectives. The Hispanic perspective of being an American, the black perspective, and then Kyle being the white guy. And let's just have a talk. And it was a really good heart-to-heart. And the moment is Kyle. Kyle thought he didn't do great because he was very emotional, and he was getting really teared up. And he's just like, I'm just here to learn.
Right.
Like, this is what I just need to listen. And you don't know how many times I get DMs from folks, especially during that event, going, that is the episode. That is the moment that solidified what this thing is, what this podcast means. So we don't shy away from that stuff. And that was a moment where we very easily could have, and not to even our detriment. And, you don't, and the thing is, and I think what makes that moment more meaningful is you don't have to use your platform to say Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ Lives Matter. You could literally just use your platform to talk about games. Or you could take the risk, you could get some people upset and go, no, Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ Lives Matter. And you don't get the reward for it. You're just letting people know that they're not alone.
Right.
So that was the most important one, because that's what our podcast is at this point. It's the thing that we are, when people say the show's great, that is the number one reason. And that's that episode for me.
Okay.
Again, I don't like to get like political stuff.
Right.
But to me, I'm like, that's not political.
Right.
LGBTQ lives, that's not political. Right? To me, it's like, I'm going to explain to you why trickle-down economics doesn't work. That's political. But that's the most important thing. So I got very ranty there.
No, you're good. You're good, man. You're good.
Thank you.
So I got two more questions for you. So
Okay.
obviously we had a lot of news come out this past week with E3, but we've had some other game announcements periodically throughout the year. Is there a game in particular that you're looking forward to talking about on the Trophy Room?
You got me here.
Yeah.
It's definitely, listen, I think before the show I stated that it's been 2,279 days since, as of recording, the launch of Bloodborne. I believe as of recording right now, we're 215 days away from the release of Elden Ring. So if there's one game that in particular I'm going to absolutely gush over, it's Elden Ring. God, that game looks so good. And it looks so beautiful. And then just the other day, I heard of like this project, Velvet Curtain or something like that.
Okay.
It's a project from Software. It's supposedly spiritual successor of Bloodborne. So we got two right there. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I love From Software. They can do no wrong to me.
Nice.
There you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, with your previously talking about Horizon Zero Dawn, I think I'm excited to hear you guys talk about 2. I think that wasn't E3 specifically, but I'm really looking forward to that. Like, I remember streaming that one and just loving the story so much. Like, obviously it's got the open world elements to it, but I remember streamlining that story so much that when I got to the end, I hadn't really upgraded my bow at all. So I'm just sitting there like, bink! little slivers of health just going away. I'm like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really fun. Um, Honestly, can I tell you one of my favorite moments
Sure.
of the trophy room so far? As I struggle to open this water bottle, it's the worst. Um, one of the best moments I had, maybe most euphoric moments, is watching the trophy room stream of the Horizon State of Play,
Mm-hmm.
because it was that like full circle moment of I started this podcast, no viewers, because I wanted to share my love of this game. And now I'm sitting here with a couple dozen of fans I call friends. We're sharing this moment together because of this moment, you know?
Right.
It's awesome. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Nice.
Super excited. November, let's make it happen.
Exactly. Can't come soon enough. So my last question, not gonna lie, is kind of a selfish one.
Okay.
What is the opposition or disgust, disdain, or whatever it is, to banger? Every time it comes up, I'm like, oh, they got it.
It's okay. First off, I need to make this clear. Because I'm reading the word that someone else is saying, I'm not saying
Right, doesn't count.
it doesn't count. All right, and that doesn't mean that you get to write an awful manifesto. I'm not gonna read that.
Right.
Right? But honestly, they're very close. Because banger is a word that. Here's the thing: it's used too much to explain something. So I typically hate when words are overly used, and they don't really describe anything. Like, what does it really mean? Apparently, in Great Britain, that word means something totally different.
Right.
And I find it hilarious. That acceptable. If you're Great Britain, you got slang, go for it. But, well, maybe not acceptable. I don't know. But to me, I just hate when people use it because it's not a good description of everything. Like, what again? Oh my God, that trailer was absolutely excellent. That's a way better word than something so short and cheap, right? So it's also my disdain of like when people say bet, that's fine, but like we're getting there. Like like that, or that. I heard someone go, "That's flame" to describe something cool, just describe something that's fire. And I'm like, isn't flame? So is that just you're excited and not that excited though? Because fire would be like, oh man, that's hot, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, it's just stupid lingo. That's stupid words. We could use better words here.
All right.
We could be better people. Banger's an easy way out. Nah, see, now I said it. But it's just to describe my disdain
For sure.
for it.
Still doesn't count. Nobody.
Because when people, it doesn't count. When people say, oh, it's just a, again, I'm quoting people that say, it's a triple A B word. Okay? That, I'm just like, what is that? What does that mean? It's just, I hear too much. And I just need it to end. Because it's like kind of like when you see a dad and they're listening to their kids' music unironically because they want to understand them.
Yeah.
Right? The dad is trying to wear, I don't know, like Crocs because he thinks it's in. It's like, no, it's not. You can't escape the mortal coil. Just listen to Bon Jovi like you know you should be right now. Okay? Don't give me that. So like, if I heard some kid, they don't know any better, and that's fine. But if I'm hearing a 32-year-old man use that language, I'm judging you because I'm like, that's not you. You didn't pick that up. You're not one with the youth. Who are you fooling? It's like when old people dye their hair black. It's like, dude, obviously not your natural hair.
Right.
Don't worry. There's no shame of having a gray hair. This is a dumb word. It's like I could hear Kim Kardashian saying it, and it just makes me upset. Irrationally so. It's like, is that who you want to be? You know? like Paris Hilton, you know what? She had the best idea. Once her flame, ended, she's just like, I'm just gonna be out of the public spotlight,
Right.
Because I'm not popular anymore. She didn't try to make dumb words up. She did that's hot, and then she's like, this is a word that's being overused. Now I'm gonna dip out. Exactly. So it's just like, it's just, you shouldn't say it. You just shouldn't. That's it.
All right. Fair enough. Well, that's going to wrap up topic 1. So, yes, everybody, please go check out the Trophy Room on podcast services. Great listen. Very entertaining. So, yes, please go make sure you guys sub. All that fun stuff to Joe and Kyle.